The art in this video contains potentially disturbing themes. Check the description for a comprehensive list if you're worried. Hello everyone and happy Halloween! My name is T and I decided that the best way to spend my October was turning random pictures I have saved on my phone into hellscapes. Okay, so that was the original plan, but to be fair, a couple of these are off Google Maps because I don't actually take that many pictures of places. The whole motivation behind this project was me wanting to learn to get better at editing things, and now that I have Live 2D Cubism, which is the program I'm going to use for this video, I wanted to practice using it. But I've always loved horror, so I thought, hey, why not combine the two into one singular abomination, and it sure is. I had 7 drawings planned out originally on my little blueprint drawing file, which was definitely an overestimation of how much I felt like finishing them. I'm sorry. Look, maybe you'll get an upload of the other 4 hellscapes near Christmas or something. I don't know, if I finish them at all. Merry Christmas, have a hellscape. I should do that. I might not, but I should. Don't ask what the lines between them are in the blueprint, because I have no idea either. It made sense in my brain at some point, but I've fully forgotten why. I wrote down some general ideas for what was going to go on in each painting, like how I was going to turn it into a hellscape. The first thing I worked on started out really tame considering, but the reference picture isn't exactly spooky. I think the part of this one that I struggled with the most was actually either the clouds or the abomination that's just kind of chilling, leaning up against the building. I ended up making a little thumbnail color sketch to try to figure out what on earth I was going to do to make the whole thing look like a coherent painting. Because I'd used such bright orange, green, blue combinations, I wasn't really sure what color to make the creature that's also there. I settled on an off-red, like a human without the peel. Do you prefer your humans with or without the peel? Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. I ended up having a great time drawing the abomination, but horrifying people are always really fun to draw to me. They're like one of my favorites. It's great because you can just ignore any logical proportions a human being would have and focus on having a good time. In my brain, I pictured the scene as a sort of post-apocalyptic... Okay, look, now that I was writing this and I think about it, it's probably my brain trying to resurrect a Milk Blood music video that I'll put on screen here. They're just dudes, they're having a great time, absolutely thriving. Anyway, I did not intend to reference that music video, but I realized that that's probably where my brain sourced the idea from. After I did the little dudes, I spent an ungodly time on swirly overlays and then deleted the whole layer anyway, and then I moved on to editing. This is the only editing montage I recorded, so enjoy! In my opinion, it's not very fun to watch, especially seeing me struggle with using the program. That's why I didn't record the other 2 time-lapses of me struggling to edit. Either way, I think it turned out alright. I clearly don't know how to use rotation deformers, but I'm doing my best with what I can with what I've got. The one thing I regret in this one is not rendering the correct file, so the little blue spores or particles or whatever they are don't move. Oh, and by the way, I ended up sticking a still image in there as well, usually after the moving one, because editing some of these just absolutely ate the details and contrast. I'm not entirely sure why. It is almost certainly not the fault of Live 2D Cubism, it's mostly because I didn't select the setting right. But either way... Now, the second hellscape is probably my favorite, even though I've done something similar before. What can I say? I'm a simple man. I'm a man of little talents. Nope. Okay. The reference for this one is one I knew I had to do from the beginning, no matter what else I did. It's an abandoned adobe on the side of the road that's just absolutely crumbling and filled with junk. The walls were giving me a lot of pain at the beginning because I didn't know how to add the detail of the bricks without giving the walls a lot of detail too. I finally just gave up on trying to have simple walls and painted everything with a brush the same size to make it look like the same piece of wall. It took a small age, but I'm really happy with how the walls especially look in this, I think. It hopefully captured the vibe of damp paint peeling off of mud bricks. This one is probably most inspired by one of my favorite horror podcasts that I never shut up about. I'm so sorry to anyone who has to spend an extended amount of time around me because I will bring it up. Anyway, the fear entity in the Magnus archives, known as the Web, is about control and it has a lot of parallels to addiction. I thought this painting would be the best to use to show some of those themes, and that's where the thought came from, hence the spidery themes. I also just adore spiders and drawing them and anything related to them. And the needles, obviously. The humanoid in this one has been dubbed Ceiling Woman by my best friend, and honestly, I love that. She's Ceiling Woman now. She's hanging out, literally. The cushions and other junk in this gave me some trouble because my reference image was A, so dark I could hardly tell what anything was, and B, it had way too much stuff in it anyway, and I did not want to spend most of my time drawing floor garbage. Still, I think I added a sufficient amount of stuff. It could be more of a disaster, but it's alright. For Ceiling Woman herself, I had a generally good time. I didn't have the same trouble with this one matching the color palette. If anything, I wanted to make it look like she was part of this place. Not human colors at all, really, with the moldy green and gray-yellow highlights. I decided to use some neon green for the syringes, though, to give them some emphasis. Oh, and then I saw the open space on the floor and I went, man, that needs some entrails. And to be fair, it really did. I tried to make them like intestines, but it's giving me ominous green glob, and that's good enough for me. I wanted it to match Ceiling Woman's colors anyway. Again, didn't record the editing for this bad boy. If I could redo it, I think I would make the needle on a string sway too, and maybe have the walls sweat more, because it's... that animation is a little, yeah. Yep, it's there, that's for sure. Now for my third and final drawing. This one I had the hardest time with because I really couldn't picture the end product. I feel like in this case, it may be because my reference image itself was spooky enough. I mean, I took it at a gas station in the middle of nowhere at like midnight. And now hear me out. I was also getting all set to take a picture of the actual gas station, like the pumps and whatnot, so I could pick between them. My phone died. Very sad and unfortunate. So to me, it was hard to recreate those vibes in art. I still don't think this one's very spooky, but I'm okay with it, I guess. I do like the end product. I started by planning to have a huge mouth in the ground and a tongue curling up and around. I'm a bit sad I didn't do the tongue, but by the end I was very tired of drawing, and you'll see why. This guy is vaguely watching, but its eyes aren't very, realistic. I did spend a small age trying to get the sky to look right and redrawing and deleting all the quote-unquote stars an excessive amount. And then I started on the ground, and I went, oh no, please God, no. Because I'm gonna be real, I haven't the slightest clue on how to draw pavement or how I wanted to transition from that to the earth mouth. So I started drawing grass, and then I hated the grass, so I deleted the grass, and I did some generic shading. It took me so much longer than it should have to decide what kind of ground I was trying to do. I decided to add trees on the darker side so that it wasn't too unbalanced with all the light and detail on the other side. The building was tough, but definitely more in a fun way. Although I had a hard time deciding whether I wanted to have the tree growing out of the building or just up behind it. I started on the ground teeth. With my fun little tooth reference image I just slammed into the middle of the canvas. I hated the ground teeth and I gave up on trying to fix them, so bye-bye ground maw. I considered for a minute trying to do something with shark teeth instead and the rows going back, but that would not work with the angle, and I was kind of sick of drawing teeth. And then I got the idea to make some... Okay, I can't stop referring to it as soul sand because 2 people have told me that it has those vibes so far, and I can't disagree. So sure, it's soul sand. I do like the way this one turned out, but my god did it take me forever to draw all these faces and hands in the dirt. I was especially dragging my feet on it, I think, because I really did not want to have to think of something else to put there if it didn't work. But luckily it turned out fine, so it's all good. I messed with a lot of lighting, didn't end up liking any of it, and then edited it, and boom! Here's the final piece. I actually really like how the faces look animated. I think they're sufficiently spooky, creepy souls trying to escape their insufferable dirt prison. Okay, sick. I think that's just about it. I hope everyone is having a very fun Halloween and not trapped in a spatially confusing dirt abyss. That's the worst outro I've ever done. God damn it. Goodbye.